Have you been looking for a single device that you can use for your audio production in your DAW, stream content on Twitch or YouTube, maybe record a podcast that includes Zoom, calls, different audio sources in one device, but you can't find it? Well, guess what? Stop looking. It's right here, and we have it for you. Big shout out to Yamaha. Man, let's do it. Before we jump in, please like this video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on notifications for more videos from Digital DJ Gear. Hey, what's up guys? This is Dave from Digital DJ Gear here, and today I'm going to talk to you about the flagship streaming mixer, the AG08 from Yamaha. Yamaha has pretty much every kind of product under the sun, but they did a phenomenal job on this streaming mixer. I mean, just from the build quality, from the functionality, from the ease of use, they checked pretty much every box you probably could for both a beginner creator and also a seasoned veteran creator as well. Let's just get right into it. First things first, it is going to be a mixer. I think they've had smaller versions of this or earlier versions in the AG03 and AG06. But this guy is the AG08. 8 means it's an actual 8-channel mixer. It's about the size of a 13-inch MacBook Pro-ish, dare I say. So it will fit in a backpack. It will fit in a small, an actual small carrier case. I do recommend probably putting some kind of deck saver on top or having a case for it, just because you have pots on here and also encoders. While it's metal, it's rugged, it should travel really well. You never want to have any kind of like bending of the pot or like snapping of an encoder when you can. So definitely recommend that, but very, very straightforward. Let's just kind of start from top to bottom here. Going across the top, you're going to see that we have 2 gain knobs on channels 1 and 2. These will be the channels that are enabled with mic inputs. So the gain knob will work for both, mic or line, obviously. But when it comes to mic, right now I'm on a 7B, which is probably just out of frame. But and I'm at 1 o'clock, so that lets you know there's plenty of gain here. 7Bs are notorious gain hogs, like most of the dynamic microphones are now for content, but you don't need a cloud lifter. You don't need to kind of inject any additional gain via fed head, that kind of stuff in the signal path. You have plenty of gain here. It's clean. The mic preamp sounds clean, works well. And again, I'm not maxing this out, getting a bunch of hiss. You can also use condenser microphones with this guy as well. You will see the 48V phantom power is here for those. If you have a hotter line level signal coming in, you can pad that signal to avoid clipping. And then, you have the pretty standard stuff when it comes to mic and line inputs on channels 1 and 2. But on channel 1 though, it's really cool because you have these onboard effects that I think change the game, because you can actually make adjustments to the effects and enable the effects right from the device, which I always love. I'm a huge fan of tactile control, looking more at the physical device and less time at your screen. But you can also go in depth in the control software, which is the AG08 control software, to modify the effects and then have those at your fingertips. So first things first, you can see there is a compressor EQ here. You can engage that, or in this case, I'm having engaged already. I'm gonna turn it off. Again, if it's not lit, it's off. Very big difference between having it on and off. I'm gonna turn that back on. Sounds great. If you go into the control software though, you can see you can actually do the adjustments and get more in depth as far as like the threshold for the compressor, the release for the compressor, the gain reduction and so forth. You can also go ahead and do the adjustments for your EQ. You could throw a quick high pass filter on this guy and do all those cool things right there. And then once you turn it on and off, it's set. So you will have to save this these different settings to your device, because when you close it out, you'll lose it. It does come with some pretty cool presets loaded, but once you do your own, you want to save those. Now, outside of doing the compressor and EQ, there is a super cool voice changer. So nefarious. And you can actually do some cool stuff with this. So you can adjust the pitch. So in this case here, let's go ahead and turn this guy back to even. So no voice change is taking place. These encoders are clickable. So if I want to engage the pitch, I'm gonna click it, and then I can pitch down, or I can pitch up, right? And sound like that. Now I'll set this back to even or 0. If I go, I can do the Vermont, which is going to be engage, and then I can do like a ransom. You know, give me your money kind of thing. I have whoever held hostage. Very, very evil. Or I can do like, you know, like your Sing About Me K-Dot style kind of thing, and adjust the pitch and do all that cool stuff too. So you have the ability to, if you're into, you know, voice alterations, or if you're a one-man show and you're doing like different characters possibly, that could be a really cool feature for you. Again, you can go in and adjust that. Now, the cool thing is when you go inside of the control software, obviously you can make the changes here, but you can get really in depth. So like, for example, for the voice changer, if you click this expansion button, it'll bring this up, and then you can choose like what the vocal effect is. You can turn the voice effect on and off. You can make this dual pitch, radio voice like this, a cool tremolo, have that kind of like shakiness in it. You can do some pitch fix, so you kind of have some on the fly, out there, I say, auto tuning. So I can go to like natural minor, throw that on, and if you're singing or something live, you have the ability to do that right here and stream that without having to load up like a plugin or a DAW to bog your system down. Again, right from the device. This is sick. This is crazy, right? I'm gonna jump back to just dual pitch and just turn this off really fast. Again, you can go through these and you can get in depth. Obviously, on the initial screen, you just kind of have like these the actual different points kind of crowded together, because I mean it makes sense. It's why it's crowded. But if I jump in here, I can actually get a bit more in depth, do some EQ stuff, adjust my Q, all that kind of stuff. You know, claw out. I mean, you know, carve out some frequencies, be a bit more precise with it, and that kind of thing. Love that part. The other thing I love is the actual ability to have onboard reverb. So I can have a little bit of reverb or a ton of reverb. Again, from the device, I can click the encoder and turn delay on and have a bunch of delay, or turn it off. And then if I want to go in and actually, set my parameters for the effects, I can jump in here, expand this out, go into the effect, and then, choose, either a preset for the reverb, like a hall reverb, really big, or room style, that kind of stuff. And then I can then dial it in as far as like my damp diffusion, initial delay. I could do high pass, where it's just high pass for the actual reverb. For someone like myself with the voice that's a bit deeper, it definitely will help. So you can do this for both your reverb, your delay. And also I like the fact that you can put your delay before the reverb, which is something that typically you won't see to be able to do like this on a device. So again, really, really in depth, and it's super easy to do. Like, I mean, they're on and off. I can go ahead and gauge this. And one cool thing is, once I have these sets, let's say for example, I want to do like a voice changer. I want to put that on, put a bunch of reverb on, and I like this. I can actually save it from the computer, or I can go ahead and click and hold, and it should save this to the device. So now this is preset number 4. If I jump to one of the presets that comes with it, this is like a filtered version, and I jump back. That is my preset I just set. Again, I made it, I set it right here, and it's good to go. I'll turn those off. Let's go ahead and disengage those. I mean, it's so easy and so fast. I just did that so fast. I mean, to be able to do this while you're creating content and streaming live is clutch. But more importantly, you have the ability to set it all up and have these presets ready to rock and roll, and then just utilize those when you need them. Channel 2 is going to be very similar to channel 1. Only difference is that you do have an actual high impedance switch for your guitar. So if you are going to be a guitarist or have a guitarist feature on your show, or if you're a guitarist even, you want to have the ability to switch that input to a high impedance input for the instrument signal. And then you have your compressor, you have your effects, but on this guy, you have an amp sim. So if you jump into the control software, you can see the amp sim. I'll make it bigger. You can do things like, turn up the gain, volume, bass, presence, all that kind of cool stuff, and kind of simulate an amp. And in my case, I don't play guitar, but sometimes I have a guitarist or maybe like an actual musician present. So having that feature set is definitely good. You have faders that will control the levels of the mix on all of the channels. I don't think these are motorized. They feel really good though, as far as like, you know, slide them up and down, totally good. But then where things really get cool with this particular piece of hardware is that on your channels 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, they are going to be able to receive both the analog signal from like, you know, 1/4-inch connections and so forth, but you can also receive the digital signals from different applications, which is game changer. So what I mean by that, so for example, this switch right here, it's a line or USB switch. When it's not engaged, it's looking at the signal, the line signal coming into the interface physically, okay? When I engage this though, it's looking at the USB signal that's gonna come in from your computer. So what you simply do is you go into the different applications, you enable the output of the application to be the input number that you want it to be. So for example, in my case, if I go to my Mac OS, I chose to have everything from my Mac OS come out of channel 7 and 8. So that means that everything that plays that's defaults to whatever I chose for my Mac OS output will come 7 and 8. So if I, for example, I watch podcasts a lot, right? So if I go to this podcast, press play,
status,
and
her
erase
set
the
list of
fader.
greatness is unquestioned.
Now
And
I have
110% agree
the podcast
that, like, but I also too, I feel like once you
playing.
see that she's pregnant, it's like
right. And now I have the podcast playing and I have my voice over top of it. This is clutch for those creators who like to do commentary that's, you know, based upon like social media things or, you know, what's happening in like, you know, popular culture, that kind of stuff. This is something you see a lot of, and I know a lot of times people have no idea how to get it done. I've seen some setups that are just so overly complicated and so diluted with so many ins and outs of this and that this one device being able to do that blows the process out of the water. This is like, you plug this up, literally one-man show, you could do everything you need. The cool thing about 7 and 8 is you can also receive input from your phone via TRRS, I believe. So you may want to, in my case, instead of using 7 and 8 for my Mac output, I'll probably should have used, you know, 5 and 6 maybe to save 7 and 8 for a phone call, that kind of stuff. But again, I'm mixing all of these different inputs from different audio sources right here into one mix, and I'm able to stream that live on Twitch or, you know, YouTube at a finger's press. Okay, you can turn on and off what's being streamed here, which is nice. That's a nice little fail safe, so you're not actually like, you know, unmuting things, but mutes here. You also have the fader route to lower the fader, but if all else fails, you can go ahead and switch the on off button for streaming, and it won't be in the actual streaming, the actual stream for the streaming content. Moving on though, super easy to read, metering here. Green's always good. Yellow means you're flying a little bit too high. Red means stop and back it up. Very, very straightforward. You can connect headphones or headsets to this guy, which is nice. Some creators will like to use a headset with the mic attached. You could do that here. Your volume knob for your monitor is here. Your volume knobs for your headphones are right here. Again, straightforward. You also have the ability to do what's called a mix minus. So the easiest way to describe a mix minus is to think about it this way. Let's just say if you have a Zoom call taking place, the Zoom call is going to be on, I don't know, 5 and 6. You're in the Zoom call already. You don't need to have yourself in the mix from the device and the Zoom call together. So what you would do is you would do a mix minus, which would be minus yourself from the device. So in this case, I'm on number 1. I say mix minus channel 1. And then what that'll do is that'll give me the mix of all the calls that have me in it, the calls in there as far as Zoom goes, but I'm not hearing myself again from the device, causing that weird loop thing happening. So very, very cool, very, very straightforward. You can do that for both channels 1 and 2 because those are the channels that will have the mic input on them. I think this guy also has some really cool feature sets and functionality that comes along with Cubase. I'm not a Cubase user, so I haven't really dug into that at all. But if you are a Cubase user, I think you can do some control stuff with these encoders from Cubase and you know, kind of have that going. There's also, I believe, This has iOS support as well, which is crazy. So if you're doing like, any kind of other software, maybe Cubasis or something like that, or you're doing, your actual productions via iOS, you can utilize this with iOS devices. You do have the Type-C connector, and you have an actual power wall wart too. So this would have enough power from the wall outlet to, go to your iOS devices. And then the other cool thing that I thought was super cool about this was the super dope, quick sound pads. You can actually have like a round of applause. Well, these are defaults, like round of applause. Thank you, far too kind. Thank you. No, thank you. No. One of those like questions. You can adjust the volume too. So like one of those like, who wants to be a millionaire question on the spot things or whatever. But you can adjust these too. If you go inside of the pad settings of the AG08 controller, you can, bring in different, have the sounds here and adjust these guys. You can jump in, you can record, you can trim it. You can import your files here as well. So you don't have to use these pre-baked sounds. If you have like a boo or whatever you want to put in that is, I guess that's more on brand for your show or on brand for your content, you can feel free to do that and have those locked in. And again, you can actually save that and be good to go and have those things right there at a finger's touch. Honestly, this is a lot you get. It's priced at like, I think $629.99. I mean, for the price and what you get here, it's pretty nuts. You do want to make sure that you save if you want to have things that you've done inside of the control software, you want to make sure that you save it to the device, that way it's retained. One thing I noticed was that if you don't, it basically goes back to the defaults, but easy to save. As far as your monitor outs on the particular control software, you can actually jump here and choose what's the monitor out that you're going to listen to through the monitor. So it could be the mix, monitor 1, monitor 2. It can be like what you're hearing is number 1, what the guest is hearing is number 2. It could be the actual aux, which is going to be, I think, 7 and 8 defaults to the aux, or it could be like your streaming output here. And you can check those and see what the levels are like and make sure that everyone is hearing things at an optimal level, optimal clarity, and no one person has a bad experience. That's clutch to promote best engagement with the actual content creators that are involved with your guests. So being able to check that really quickly is beautiful. Every one of these, so 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, do have a ducker function, which you can see. The ducker function is nice because it will let you, and I just open this up too, it will let you how duckers work is this, if you're not quite sure. Duckers work in the fact of like, let's just say you have music playing in the background at one level, okay? And you're doing a monologue, or if your podcast or if your content is religious, maybe, right? You could be doing a sermon, if you will. The ducker will basically wait until another input signal happens. When it does happen, it'll duck the background to a certain level, let you talk, and then bring it back up again. So this is clutch to have, basically having an automated source do that for you, so the voice can come through and then have that music come back in for you. Again, I mean, this is crazy to have on a device. You have 3 different options here for that. So you have it on, I guess 3 different stereo channels, if you will. But I mean, it's nuts. This is super cool, man. The one other thing I love about this is that you're able to basically go into the streaming output and almost like master, if you will. So like if I go to the maximizer, this is so cool. You could actually do maximizing. It's broken up in bands, low, mid, high, mid, low, mid, and high. You can choose your crossover. This is like a low level, almost like ozone, if you will, right? That's like an actual, like, I hate to like put that name in there, but it really is like, that style of like mastering, that last touch mastering before it goes out to the masses. You have the ability to do that, turn that on and off, and adjust those levels and have that final product to sound ultimately polished. And it really changes things quite a bit in the quality of your sound and the quality of your content. Let's be honest, at this stage of the game, quality matters, the audio matters, the video matters, everything matters. Even if you are a beginner creator, you can still jump into this. Don't feel like you don't know what to do. There is a simple layout on the AG controller. this is where it gets me, because if you can't teach someone who's never touched anything how to use this in 30 minutes or less, you're kind of falling short. This is not a problem for this particular device. You jump into the actual simple version of this, it asks you, what's your voice range? Me personally, I'm like bass tenor, a little bit lower of a voice. There's bass tenor, alto, soprano, low, mid, high. Super easy. It lays a piano out here for you to kind of show you. I mean, doesn't get much easier than that. It asks you, what's your microphone type? Is it a dynamic microphone, condenser, or headset? You choose it, bam. It asks you, do you plan to talk or do you plan to sing? If you plan to talk, it's pretty chill like this. You plan to sing, guess what? The reverb comes on and you're good to go. I'm going back to talk. So again, even if you aren't super savvy with doing your EQ or carving out or setting a compressor or choosing different vocal effects, at a base level, you can go here, click 4 or 3 boxes and get up and running from beginning. I did have to install a driver and the AG controller software, but again, it was really simple. So it's not class compliant in that regard. But I mean, listen, me personally, I love it. I'm sold on it. I will continue to utilize this. I think it's really cool too if you're going to create high quality like collaboration. So like, for example, on IG, you can do the split screen collaboration, but why not take it a step further and be able to like pull that up, shoot a video, like high quality video, even better than your iPhone, and like do that and then put that content up. Again, if you're going to be in the studio creating high quality pieces and not on the go with your phone, then obviously being on the go with your phone is clutch in that regard because you're on the go. But if you have the ability to take it a step further, you could do that so easy with the AG08. I mean, it's just designed that way. I cannot stress enough. I wholeheartedly think this is a great piece. So thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, stay focused, be good to each other. We hope you enjoyed this video from Digital DJ Gear. To learn more about all of our pro audio, lighting, DJ, and recording equipment, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel now. Be sure to leave a comment below if this video helped you, and check out these other videos we think you might like. Until next time, thanks for watching.